toll-free number 0800-222222 or visit our website www.nationwidemh.com. Nationwide Medical Insurance. Join the healthcare family.
Joy 99.7 FM.
In the next 60 minutes here on Newsnight, police in Tamale deploy armed officers to Tamale Teaching Hospital after NPP thugs, Kandahar boys, dragged Chief Executive Officer of the hospital out of his office.
But as we speak, we've been able to secure the place and our men have dominated the hospital.
We'll get to hear from the leadership of the party in the region. Parliament's Public Accounts Committee to grill Attorney General on what the office has done to recover over 47 million Ghana cedi judgment debt from Alfred Agbesiwoyome.
If that agreement is not followed, that is where we will ask the court to take further action. We are meeting the Attorney General, and this is one of the issues that we'll put before them.
We have business.
And coming up, retailers of petroleum product hands of a day shutdown of operations to press home for review in margins.
And coming up later in sports, we'll bring you reactions from Kumasi as Asante Kotoko dissolve entire management. And then Emigo Ghana Limited, producers of Yomi Yogurt, they say they are taking over the Joy Sports Invitational Tournament 2018.
And later on Flip Side, what does it mean for banks to be consolidated?
Asofo, yes. Did you hear about the consolidated bank issue? Google. Yeah, the bank is collapse. It's 7 banks, and the government take boom.
We'll get to hear from Prophet Kumchacha on what it means for banks to be consolidated. That's coming up later. You may want to join us with your thoughts and comments via WhatsApp at 0244340437. I am MFR Pau.
And my name is Evan Spencer.
Police in Tamale in Northern Region have deployed armed officers to the Tamale Teaching Hospital after some youth group linked to NPP vigilante group Kandahar Boys dragged the chief executive of the facility, Dr. David Akobila, out of his office. They are also accusing him of sabotaging the government. Spokesperson of the group, Baba Musa Elia, told Joy News Dr. David Akobila has established 7 companies he's using to extort monies from the hospital. Take a listen to how events unfolded at his office today. In a video footage, at least 7 well-built men are seen moving into the office of the chief executive of the Tamale Teaching Hospital, Dr. David Akobila. A man in a yellow shirt and a pair of black trousers is heard cursing and clapping his hands. The calm-looking doctor is ordered out of his office, with visitors being dragged along. He's instructed to pick his bag while they lock up his office. Hospital staff look stunned by the actions of the Kandahar boys. The group cites mismanagement, corruption, and nepotism at the hospital for their action. Spokesperson of the group, Baba Musa, warns they will resist the appointment of anyone who attempts to exploit the office.
Yeah, it won't be the last and it won't be the first time again, because we, the youth, we go with truth and we always make sure that truth will prevail. Any other person that the president will nominate or appoint to head this facility and that person is not correct, I swear heaven and earth, we will come back. We will come back and sack that person.
But leadership of Kandahar Boys has dissociated itself from the action of some of its members and has vowed to break the locks for entry. So that's how events unfolded earlier today at the Tamale Teaching Hospital. And correspondent Martina Bugri has been following events on the ground and joins us on the line with details of that. So Martina, describe to us the situation currently on the ground with regard to police deployment at the Tamale Teaching Hospital.
When you get to the hospital and you go towards the administration, it's a story building, and so you have to go 3 courses before you get to the top. The first course, you have 3 police officers stationed there, and then you move to the second one, you have 1 stationed there, and then to the last floor, you have another 3. And also you have a few of them on the ground floor, and this is how they have been deployed to take care of the hospital in the interim.
But generally, the mood, because you witnessed the boys locking up the office and dragging the CEO out of that office. Give us an account of how it actually happened.
What I got out was that they entered the CEO's office and asked him to gather his things and leave. And they eventually brought him out of the office, and then they moved him into a car that was parked, and then he drove off.
Well, you've been speaking to the aide of the chief executive. What has he been telling you?
He said he's okay, even though he would not tell me exactly where he is now. He just said he's fine. I asked if he will be in the office tomorrow. He says he probably will be there, but he won't be definite, and he can't confirm if he'll be there or not, but he could come.
But Martina, earlier also, the leadership of the Kandahar boys said they were heading to the hospital to unlock the door. Has that been done?
No, up till now, the CEO's office is locked. I spoke to some staff at the hospital, and I'm told that the key was brought back, but they're unable to tell me exactly who has the key now. But we were told that they themselves were coming to open up the place, but they never turned up. What they rather did was issue a press statement to disassociate themselves from what happened earlier in the morning.
So if there were not the ones that undertook this, locking of the office and all, who did?
When I interviewed Baba Alassane this morning, I asked him which group was doing this, and he mentioned the Kandahar boys and other youth groups in the metropolis, and they were not happy about the way the hospital was being run, and they were fighting for the region and any other person who would benefit from the hospital.
Correspondent Martina Bugri, thank you very much.
Well, let's speak to the Northern Region Police spokesperson, ASP Yusuf Mohammed Tanko. Mr. Tanko, thank you for your time here on Newsnight.
You're most welcome.
So the doors to the chief executive's office, have you succeeded to unlock it now?
The doors have not been unlocked, and the reason is that we've not been able to get in touch with the chief executive officer and the administrator who are supposed to occupy and work at the office. And we are trying to locate them. As soon as we locate them, the office will be open with or without the keys for them to continue with their legitimate businesses in the office.
It appears from what we had happened today that the chief executive himself might be afraid for his own safety. I don't know if the police is doing anything to guarantee that.
That is why we are trying to get in touch with him. You see, Evans, as a chief executive officer of a huge hospital like the TTH, if persons come to the office and attack you and drive you out of the office, you need to get in touch with police. We had information and moved there. We've secured the hospital. When we got there, there was no tag at the hospital. And we are trying to identify them and make sure they face the full rigors of the law. But it is unfortunate the chief executive officer has not also come to the police station to make an official complaint to us. That notwithstanding, we are on the ground and we are trying to locate him and the administrator. And as soon as we are able to get in touch with them and they are willing to go to the office to work, we are going to unlock the office with or without the keys and ensure that they work at the office.
But Mr. Tanko, knowing that this is not the first time that we've seen these acts by these Kandahar boys, even though they are distancing themselves, some members belong to the Kandahar boys. How difficult is it to call them to order?
For now, we've not been able to identify the perpetrators, so we don't know the groupings where they belong to. But so far as we are concerned, the first incident, we did not get the support of persons who were attacked and persons who saw the action and assisted us with investigations. We didn't get that from the people. And we are expecting that this time around, the chief executive officer, if he can identify the persons and any other persons who was on the ground and can identify the person, should do so. If we are unwilling to report to the police and try to help police identify the persons, it will be very difficult for us to get the people arrested and taken to court. And if that doesn't happen, then there wouldn't be any reason why they will not repeat that tomorrow. But if we are able to come together, assist the police with the needed information, I think there will be fear in them or some other persons who would like to pursue that path in future.
Mr. Tanko, I'm sure you've seen some of these videos and also heard their spokesperson actually publicly speaking to these issues. You're saying you haven't seen or heard?
Yeah, we've heard of some videos, and we've also seen some videos on TV. We are trying to put the pieces together and get people who will help us with their identity as to who they are, where they live, and where we can locate them. And we will work on that.
Some say it's not about the issue of locating them, but it looks like they are untouchable.
I don't know that. I've told you in the first instance, we didn't get the support of people who we need, who saw the event to assist us with investigations. And we are hoping that this time it will be different.
Mr. Tanko, thank you very much for your time. He's a Northern Regional Police PRO, ASP Yusuf Mohammed Tanko there.
Let's speak now to Sule Sambian. He's a Northern Regional Secretary of the MPP. Mr. Sambian, I'm grateful that you managed to join us on the news night. These individuals responsible for the forceful removal of the CEO and locking up of the offices, are these your party members?
To you and your listeners, I can say without fear of contradicting myself that they are not members of the MPP. As a matter of fact, when I got information that such an act had taken place, I immediately called the region. I'm out of the region as we speak. I immediately called the region. And I spoke to the Kandahar secretary, because the information I got at that time was that it was an act that was undertaken by the Kandahar boys. I spoke to the Kandahar secretary, and he denied the involvement of Kandahar in the whole affair. Then I decided to talk to the coalition youth chairman. When I spoke to him, he indicated that they had not also engaged in any form of activity that relates to violence or violating the office of the CEO of TTH. As a matter of fact, as we speak, Kandahar has issued a statement denying that they were involved in this kind of activity. I must be honest with you that we haven't been happy hearing that something like that happened. But I must be quick to add that it wasn't an activity undertaken by the MPP. We condemn this act. As a matter of fact, when we assumed office as executive officers of the party in the region, we had to appeal to party members to, as it were, exercise restraints and allow the government to work. In fact, we took pains to tell them that there was a need for party members not to put the party in bad light or the government in bad light. And I must say that so far they have been living by this advice.
You told us that the Kandahar boys told you that they were not responsible, and yet and yet they had said that they were going there to unlock the office doors. I mean, if they had nothing to do with it, why would they take that responsibility upon themselves when the police was doing their work?
That they were going to unlock the office?
The office doors, yes.
They said they were going to unlock the office?
Yes, they were going to undo what had been done and had been hanged on them, as so to speak.
Well, I do not know that for a fact that they said they were going to unlock the office. Because the keys are not with them. According to them, they did not lock. Why you do not lock the door? You will not have a key to go open. So I really doubt they said they were going to unlock the office for the CEO to go about his.
Yeah. But there's a bigger question that what you said raises. You said the Kandahar boys told you. I'm wondering, why do you have Kandahar boys? What do they do for you as a party?
Kandahar boys. They are a youth group, and if you look at the constitution of our country, everybody is free to belong to associations. So it's their right to form an association and belong to such associations.
This is not the first time your group has been accused of vandalism, violent acts. You will not admit that they've been involved. You will not dismiss that fact, would you? That they've been involved in violent acts in the past. for which reason the president himself had cause to complain that he is going to work to dismantle them. So why do you still have them?
Why do we still have Kanda Harbour? I just indicated to you that the right to associate is a right guaranteed by Constitution.
Yeah, there's a right to associate, but not the right to form gangs for the purposes of causing mayhem and breaking the law.
I just indicated to you that Kandahar boys are not involved in this kind of activity.
I'm not talking about this one in particular. I'm talking about what Kandahar boys have been known to do in the past, and you know that.
Well, they have stopped. They haven't been doing that since we spoke to them. They haven't been engaged in those kind of activities.
So you still find the need to keep them around, regardless of the past that they have?
To the extent that they are not engaged in any unlawful activities, why not? It's their right to form associations that belong to associations.
Thank you very much, Sule Sambian. He's the Northern Regional Secretary of the NPP.
Now, away from that, Parliament's Public Accounts Committee will on Thursday grill Attorney General Gloria Kufu on what the office has done to recover over 47 million Ghana cedis paid to businessman Alfred Agbesi Woyome. Mr. Woyome has been ordered by the courts to pay back a 51 million Ghana cedi judgment debt he got from the state. Controller and Accountant General Eugene Ofosu confirmed at a sitting of the PAC today that Mr. Woyome has so far paid only 4.6 million Ghana cedis of the amount to the state in 2016.
We have a letter from the AG's office to support the payment. The letter dated 8th of March 2018. It was written to the Auditor General. And the paragraph 4 says, kindly find below a computation of payments made by Mr. Woyome based on the terms of settlement and the proceeds from the Ganeshi. Monies collected or recovered from the Ganeshi order, 167,565 cedis, 62 Ghana pesos. Then B, monies paid as a result of settlement, 4.5 million. So the two sum up to the 4.667566.62. You know, this matter went to court, and the court ruled. And the court, I don't know the type of settlement that the court entered into with Mr. Woyome. So I think if you need further information on the settlement terms, I think we'll do well to get in touch with the AG's office and then ask for the term sheet, which will indicate how many months or years or weeks it will take him to settle the 51, the balance of the 46 million.
Also, Chairman of Parliament's Public Accounts Committee, James Klutia-Veggie, says the House will work to ensure the money is recovered for the state, possibly with interest.
We'll hear from James Klutia-Veggie shortly, but let's speak to Madam Gloria Kufu, who is the Attorney General. She joins us on the telephone line right now. Thank you very much, Madam, for your time here on Newsnight.
You're welcome.
So what's the update on the attempts to retrieve the monies from Mr. Alfred Woyome?
Well, since we assumed office, we have been trying to trace properties of Mr. Woyome. We have also been to the court, and the court ordered that he present himself after many efforts for him to be examined on his means. Remember, he created the impression that he had used all his money to pay legal fees and therefore had very little left. But we had reason to believe that he had the means to pay the judgment debt. So, in the course of examining him, he took the matter to the Human and People's Rights Court in Arusha. We had to attend that court. We raised issues of jurisdiction, in that his rights had not been abused. He had been given opportunity at all times to defend himself, either in the trials leading up to the judgment, or even his own other applications that he made in an attempt to forestall the execution of the matter. The court took the position that he has jurisdiction, so we have to go for the hearings which took place. That matter has been adjourned to October for a ruling. Again, the Supreme Court here which is hearing the matter, notwithstanding the matter at the Human Rights Court, because it took the position that he had the power and authority as the Supreme Court of this country to go on to investigate his means. However, the same judge also was involved in the investigation of the chairperson, the former chairperson of the Electoral Commission and her deputies. So the matter was in abeyance. It has since adjourned to October because the courts are on recess. It is our expectation that come October, we will go back and continue the examination of Mr. Wilme as to his means, because the impression is that he hasn't got money to pay the undertakings that he himself had offered.
So, just for clarity, in the last 1.5, almost 2 years, you haven't been able to retrieve anything beyond what was retrieved in 2016 because of the legal hurdles you describe?
That is correct.
And the examination is essentially to identify assets that you can go after, that belongs to him.
Yes, we have conducted searches, and perhaps I cannot give the details because the matter is still before court, but we have conducted searches that indicate that he has interest in certain properties that can be attached in satisfaction of the judgment debt. So that is what we are in the process of establishing.
But, Madam, considering the huge political capital made out of this Woyome issue and the legal hurdles that you've described to us, are we hopeful that we'll be able to retrieve any money at all from him at the end of the first tenure of this government?
First of all, it is not about politics. It's about justice. I don't understand what is meant by the huge political. I think it's about justice. The court has made a decision that he is liable to pay certain monies that belong to the state. If he is resisting, natural justice requires that he be heard, which is what is going on. I can only say that we are not relenting in our efforts to retrieve the money for the state. And I am hopeful that, as they say in Akan, the time will come. Even legal hurdles have their end.
So until then, until such a time that we're able to establish which properties belong to Mr. Woyome, we are unable to retrieve any monies from him.
You've answered the question. Because it has to be by legal process. You have identified properties that you believe belong to a judgment debtor. And so you need a court to make a definite pronouncement on that. Yes, indeed, these are the properties of the judgment creditor. You can proceed against them. As I said, I'm not able to give the details of the nature of the properties and what they are worth because the matter is still before court. But until we go through the process of establishing, but for the resistance and to go, you can just attach properties once there is no resistance. But if there is resistance, and for example, by legal process, you go and attach a property that you know belongs to a party, and some other party comes to say that it is not for the judgment debtor, it is for me. There are procedures that you have to go through as well. And we want to work with the rule of law.
So finally, would you say this Woyome issue is one of the most difficult on your desk?
I haven't dealt with all the cases on my desk. Cases have got different.
The ones you've dealt with so far?
Different cases have different histories. And until you get to the end, you are not able to tell which is the most difficult.
We're grateful for your time. Madam Gloria Kufu is Attorney General. We can now hear from the Chairman of the Public Accounts Committee, James Klute Avedi, on this issue.
If the terms of our agreement is that you pay the 51 point something million, and then if there's a breach of that terms, then there must be a clause which must trigger that if you breach and you don't pay accordingly, as long as the money stays with you, you must pay some interest on it. That definitely must be in the agreement.
So this has been ongoing. It's been to court. The executive is working. Now it's come up at PAC. Is there anything you can do, maybe piling on the pressure to ensure that the repayment is really done? beyond sitting here and discussing about it?
Definitely. You know, we also don't have a final take on this matter. We have listened to the ministry, and for that matter, we will also do as a committee our recommendation for the House. And that recommendation is something that House will have to approve. If once the House agree with and approve the recommendation, then the Ministry of Finance will have to go and ensure that that recommendation is followed. But we have to look at it from this point of view. There is a judgment against somebody by the court. There is an agreement between the Ministry of, for that matter, government and the person. If that agreement is not followed, then that is where we will ask the court to take further action. But if the agreement is followed, then we wait for the agreement to be followed.
What further action could mean? What exactly?
No, if the agreement is not followed and there is a clause in the agreement that if you don't follow the agreement, this is a punishment. That is what we are going to recommend.
Will the committee be interested in getting the Attorney General here to provide clarity?
Fortunately, we are meeting the Attorney General, I think, on Wednesday or Thursday. And this is one of the issues that we'll put before them.
And what clarity exactly will you be seeking from the Attorney General on this?
Just to confirm what the Ministry of Finance told us today.
And you'll be interested in the details on what the
Yes, definitely. We'll be interested in that. Yeah. We want to know the details.
You heard the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament, the James Klutse Aveji.
And you're listening to News Night here on Joy 99.7 FM. Share your comments with us here on the program on the stories you've heard so far. 0244 340437. Later, we're bringing the latest on this unfolding drama between the Bank of Ghana and also the Minerals Commission and Men's Gold. Now, residents of Mafi, Akukopo, in the Volta region are demanding access to potable water as they're being forced to drink from muddy sources which they share with animals. MFA, you were giggling at my pronunciation. What's the proper pronunciation?
Akukopo.
Huh?
Akukopo.
Akukopo.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
I would have to check.
Okay, so you don't know. No, in this particular community, by the way, is that your community?
No.
No, okay. Is that part of the region? Right? This is your region, of course.
Yeah.
Now, in this particular part of the Volta region, they use untreated water, often very, very muddy. Now, Joseph Gakpo was there and filed this report for Joy News Agenda.
Residents here, old and young, men and women, on daily basis, walk for some 15 minutes to get to the nearest water source. This is how the water looks like. Unclean, brownish, muddy, as thick as porridge. Sticks and tree branches lie in them with bubbles brewing all over it. Felicia, a mother of 4, stands in the mud as she stretches her hand and fetches from the deep source into her basin. A large chunk of what she fetches is actually mud. But guess what? They drink it like that, without any form of treatment.
He was basically saying that this is the only source of water they have over here. And they use it to cook, they drink it, do everything with only this water.
Back home, Felicia and her children pour the mud into their huge storage bin. They are grateful they at least have some water to use for their house chores. They will not even allow for the mud to settle before they go fetch it to use for washing of dishes and cooking. Felicia's daughter Sylvia says they don't have a choice.
Aren't you afraid this may cause you any illness?
But it is only this water that we have.
What do you want done about this? What do you want to change?
We want the government to bring us another water, pipe-borne water.
If water is truly life, as they say, then these residents obviously deserve better than this. For Joy News, Joseph Opoku-Gakpo reporting.
Let's come back to the Greater Accra region, where police launched a manhunt for some armed men who shot and injured 4 police officers and a civilian at Zamrama Line near Mamprobi in Accra. 3 of the officers have been discharged and 1 is currently responding to treatment at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Matilda Bamega has more.
The shooting incident happened on Saturday night at Samaramba Line near Mamprobi in Accra as the officers responded to a distress call to combat a robbery operation. 6 persons sustained gunshot wounds, including 2 civilians, one of whom fell into a drain, trying to escape as the armed men opened fire on the police officers in a crowded area. One officer who was in critical condition on Sunday is currently responding to treatment, while a civilian caught in the shootout is also doing well according to the doctors. 3 officers have already been discharged. Interior Minister Ambrose Derry, who led a team of high-ranking police officers, including the IGP, to visit the injured in hospital Monday afternoon, declined to give details about the assailants, but revealed they are already on the police wanted list and will be tracked.
Is going to pick up whatever bill is beyond coverage of the health insurance, and we are at least happy that there's been no loss of lives, and we're looking forward to getting our officers back. But as in every operation, we're going to review what transpired. The police will do so. They have standard operating procedures. We're going to find out what happened, and whatever went wrong, we know we're right. But whoever did it, we know, the police know, and I want to assure all Ghanaians that will be pursued and brought to justice within the confines of the law.
It means the one who the police officers went there to arrest initially are still on the run?
Well, the narrative is that they were called that the armed robbers had gone to attack a place, and they were trying to find out the place. Sometimes the information that's given is not precise, and when they got there, in trying to find out where the location was, they were surprised by this person who I believe the police know, and he shot them in circumstances that the police thought it was not reasonable to react because there were civilians there, and the reaction could have led to a lot of collateral damage and maybe deaths. But
you heard that the Interior Minister speaking to my colleague Matilda Avomega, and a few of you have joined us with your messages on our WhatsApp console. Kofi Siedu says the bigwigs in the MPP who usually come and mount defense for these unwanted vigilante groups of the MPP are giving out some oxygen to these thugs to thrive with impunity.
Ernest Agada saying Kukum says it is clear the Kandahar boys and like-minded people think that the laws of Ghana simply doesn't work and think politicians are the law. It is clear they don't believe the judiciary is neutral and believe the politicians can always manipulate the system, hence make them untouchable.
Michael in Takrady says, Evans, are we being told today that it's about justice to collect the money from Woyome? Is this coming from an MPP AG? Where is Nana Komia and his list of funds distribution? We were all in Ghana in 2016 and we heard that was said. And we heard what was said. Interesting time in Ghana.
And this one also says, Evans, we are being told today that it's about justice to collect the money from Woyome. I think that's the same one. And this one also says, okay, we'll get some more of your messages. This one from Blay, it says, in fact, rule of law and democracy is not helping us as a nation. They are breeding criminals and corrupt people. God save Ghana.
Well, George is here with the latest from the world of business. George.
Well, events coming up in business, we'll tell you threats by the retailers of petroleum products who are hinting days shutdown of operations to press home for review in margins. And events will also get some understanding of the business model of Mensgo with all the controversies surrounding that firm. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all your office essentials and stationery heaven. Plus, insecticide spray, pleasant on humans, a tough nightmare on insect. United Pension Trustees, My Own Pensions, Papa, and Mark Orthopad, that is distributors of Chevy cars.
And then later we'll get Sammy Forson to attempt to pronounce single obligo. It's on flip side.
Obligo. Okay.
That's the sound of my heart breaking the first time I said I wanted to be a cassava farmer.
Thank you.
But this was when I graduated with first class honors in agriculture. Oh, my first harvester. The last harvester I ordered online. That's people seeing my fresh cassava page on Facebook and Instagram. And endless number of calls for my quick fufu all year round.
There are beautiful connections that bridge humble todays to amazing tomorrows on Ghana's #1 network, everywhere you go.
Hey, the Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited's Back to School promotion is here with us again. From the 1st of August to the 30th of September, Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited is giving a generous 10% discount on all school items like textbooks, pens, pencils, erasers, exercise books, and much more across all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Takoradi, and Cape Coast. Parents, teachers, and students, please hurry while stocks last. For more information, call us on 0302 764 101 or 0302 764 209 or email info@kingdomgh.com. You can also visit our website www.kingdomgh.com. Kingdom Books, where quality and affordability are both assured. Terms and conditions apply.
That is a sweet sound of excellence. That is the sound from Mac. Yes, Mac Ghana is the #1 distributor of the world's best quality Isuzu and Chevrolet vehicles in Ghana. Isuzu trucks from 1.5 tons to heavy-duty vehicles. Isuzu buses from 15 to 33 seaters, double and single cabin pickup, available in automatic and manual transmissions. We also stock a wide range of Chevy cars from SUVs, sedans, and small cars, fully loaded with exquisite specifications. All our range of vehicles stand out due to its high fuel efficiency, safety, luxury, spacious interior, world-class delivery, and after-sales servicing. What's more, we offer flexible payment terms to meet your pockets. Mark Ghana is a sole distributor for Isuzu trucks and pickups, as well as all range of Chevrolet cars in Ghana. Call us on 0302-813-919 in Accra or 0242-039-550 in Kumasi. Visit our website markghana.com. Mark Ghana, with you for the long run.
Joy 99.7 FM, radio for the discerning listener.
You're welcome back to Business on News Now Time. Retailers of petroleum products have indicated that they will soon strike by shutting down the operations to press home for review in their margins. Now, these retailers have argued that over the past 1 year, their margins, which is a fraction of the price built up in every litre sold, is yet to be paid to them. Commodore Mensah is president of the Association of Petroleum Retailers.
I must confess that we are considering it. Fortunately, with each passing day, the ratio keeps changing. I pray that we never allow the hawks to have their way. But if they do, we will consider it.
That's something that you could explore soon to ensure.
Very, 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 very soon. Because we are desperate. And a desperate man can do anything, everything. We met last week, Friday or so, and we are considering the options. To be honest, we've gotten a consultant to do the numbers for us so that we can show to everybody that no, it's not just we are just crying for the sake of crying, wolf, 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 but it's a reality. The retail industry is at a crossroad and something needs to be done and done pretty fast.
Mr. Commodore Mensah has also argued that the current deregulation policy has contributed to this challenge. The Ghana Union of Trade Association says it has stepped down its plan to stop Nigerians from trading in retail markets in the Ashanti region. The Ghana Union members in the region over the past weeks have prevented their colleagues from Nigeria as they sought to take the laws into their own hands to enforce the investment laws. The union has also agreed to work with all the relevant agencies to enforce the laws. Speaking to Joy Business, president of the association, Dr. Joseph Obeng said they took the action in the interest of the nation.
There were a lot of agitations near havoc in a magazine, and then the national security prevailed upon this. We have to talk to the presidency itself and then the committee that was set to deliver. Now the assurance given is that the shops need to be opened whilst the institutions start working on Wednesday. So that's the assurance given, and then the people have consented to it, provided that the task force comes. So the delivery now depends on how the task force also goes to Kumasi as early as possible.
So are they going to open the shop and be doing business as usual, or there's going to be a change?
That's how it should be, because if the task force is there, then the shop needs to be opened, or the people who are manning the place should be there. So that's generally. And then we also talked with the Nigerian Association themselves, and then they wanted us to make some concessions. Fortunately, we saw that some of their members have duly registered.
Dr. Joseph Obeng is the president of the Ghana Union of Trade Association, speaking to Ebenezer Sabute. The current controversy surrounding gold buying firm Men's Gold might not be ending anytime soon. This was after it meant that the company's license only allowed them to buy gold locally and export. But what is the business model of Men's Gold, its operations and services? We have the details in this report.
A visit to the website of Men's Gold shows that it is engaged in several dealings as a business. One can talk about its bullion investment, or call it gold trading, that offers 10% monthly returns on investments. The company says it never defaulted since it started operations. This should mean that if you invest in this product for the whole year, you will be making a return of about 120%. Men's Gold's investment agreement also showed that the 10% return is guaranteed, although some strict conditions on how to withdraw your investment are attached. Men's Gold believes that the way it carries out its activities has given a lot of financial institutions competition, forcing them to treat their customers well. The company is said to be in the production of customized, uncustomized, embossed coins for its customers. Men's Gold is also offering another service that can be described as network marketing. This basically capitalizes on the market share of an individual's social network to help sell its products, which is rewarded with a bar of gold. The company, in its mission statement, indicates that it will be the leader in the gold business in Ghana. From the company's business model, it's clear that it wants to use its gold license to venture into areas that would allow it to make good returns. But the verdict might still be out there on whether or not the company is indeed involved in deposit taking, or what some might call derivative trading, or what Men's Gold is claiming now to be commodity trading. The man said to be behind the company is Nana Apia Mensah, who actually owns Men's Gold Ghana, Men's Gold Nigeria, Men's Gold London, and Men's Gold Spain. He also is in the art business with the Xylophone FM, Xylophone record label, and also Xylophone Cash. He also owns the Brew Marketing, a subsidiary of Men's Gold.
And that was a Business Desk report. Now, a former senior country partner at accounting firm PricewaterhouseCoopers, Felix Addo, says he welcomes investigations into the dealings of auditors that worked on the Seven Collapsed Bank. The regulator of the accountancy profession, that is Institute of Chartered Accountants, is set to begin investigations into how these firms audited the 7 banks that recently lost their licenses. Mr. Addo tells Joy Business it is critical for everything to be done to ensure that the verdict of the auditor is respected.
A wonderful opportunity for the public to know more about what auditors do. It's a wonderful opportunity for the institute to educate the public, and so that the companies will take a little bit better interest in the work of the auditor. Now, in the company's code, clearly the role of the auditor is spelled. All right, it wasn't for lack of valid reason that the company's code require that auditors are appointed directly by the members of the company and also approve of their work, their report, adopt their work. Yes, because they want that responsibility, because at the end of the day, they are giving that independent stamp, so to speak, on the company's officials, on the directors' financials, that what they've done is true and fair and represents exactly what they.
Felix Addo is a former senior country partner at accounting firm PricewaterhouseCoopers. Let's turn attention to the stock market. And if you hold shares of Access Bank today, you went down by 48 pesos and is now worth 3 Ghana cedis, 50 pesos. Guel was also down by 37 pesos and is now worth 3 Ghana cedis, 30 pesos. And that's all for business on Newsnight. So MFA, derivatives, collectibles, commodity trading, riddle.
And this is another riddle. Please try it. Answer it.
Single obligor limit.
Again?
Single obligor limit.
Again?
Single obligor limit. Single obligor limit.
Okay. So I'm forcing try to pronounce.
That policy, I think.
Okay, one word that was thrown about a lot is the single obligor limit.
Hey.
Single obligor unit.
Pardon?
Single obligor limit.
Pardon?
Obligor limit. Well, you want to stay with us for details of that later on Flip Side.
Now, it is imagined tonight that Men's Gold Company Limited was written to last year, September 2017, by the Minerals Commission, warning it about its unauthorized business operations outside the remit of its license. According to the letter cited by Joy News, the gold trading company is only authorized to purchase from small-scale miners and export the commodity and not sell to ordinary Ghanaians. And Men's Gold has recently come under scrutiny after the Bank of Ghana warned Ghanaians against giving deposits to the company, which promises between 84 and 144% profit per annum. We have a copy of the letter plus the license given to Men's Gold by the Minerals Commission. My colleague Elton John Broby joins us with that. Let's start with the letter, Elton. What does it say?
So what we have is correspondence addressed to the Managing Director of Men's Gold Ghana Limited, and it's dated 19th September 2017. The title is Unauthorized Business Activities. Now, in summary, the two parties met about some illegal business that will be undertaken according to Minerals Commission by Men's Gold, and the part of the letter says that during the discussion held with Men's Gold officials, Men's Gold sought to interpret its right to buy and export gold as including a right to sell the gold locally as well as internationally. The commission held that the license only entitled Men's Gold to buy gold from authorized persons and export same. The commission further determined that if even the company seeks to sell gold locally, it could only sell to persons who are licensed to buy gold. Therefore, the company's program, which involved the sale of gold to the general public who do not have a license to buy gold, are inconsistent with that license. Therefore, since Men's Gold has not registered or any person as a licensed buying agent, no one can lawfully purchase gold on behalf of the company. And in conclusion, they say that in light of the foregoing, Men's Gold is advised to desist from any business activity that involves the sale of gold to unauthorized persons. Additionally, the company is advised to correct the misrepresentation in the media regarding its licenses within 10 days of the date of this letter. The commission will also be issuing a public notice to this effect. And this is signed by Ade Nkibu-Esekun, the CEO of the Minerals Commission.
We also have a copy of that license that was issued to them by Neo Samuels as Minister of Lands and Natural Resources back then. What does it authorize them to do? So
this is a 14-page resolution entered between Men's Gold and the Minerals Commission. Now, I can't go through all of it, so I can just pinpoint some of the salient points. First is that the registration of a gold buying agent with the Minerals Commission may be renewed annually, provided that the gold buying company complied with the terms and conditions of the gold buying agent's registration and any law relating to the activities of gold buying agent. The registration of the gold buying agent is not transferable. Now, if you go to conditions of export, the company shall at all times satisfy the requirement and conditions of the Minerals Commission and Bank of Ghana relating to the sale of or export of any gold or any condition as the Minerals Commission and the Bank of Ghana may direct from time to time. Now, to ensure regular supply to local use, the company shall subject to the government's directive on the exportation, sale and disposal of minerals supply to local refinery a portion of gold purchased by the company. Now, there's also issue of cancellation of license. In part, says that the minister may suspend or cancel this license if the company is in breach of any of the terms and conditions of this license or in breach of any provisions of any law relating to the company's activities, becomes insolvent or bankrupt, enters into an agreement or scheme of composition with its creditors, or take advantage of any enactment for the benefit of its debtors, or goes into liquidation. The third one, it makes any statement to the minister, the Minerals Commission, or any other competent body or authority where the company knows or sought to have known to be false. The minister shall, before suspending or cancelling this license, give 60 days notice to the company to remedy any breach of the terms and conditions of that license. And where such breach cannot be remedied, the company shall be required to show cause to the satisfaction of the minister why the license should not be suspended or cancelled. And it goes on to say they can only buy from licensed small-scale miners. So it's a 14-page resolution between the two parties.
And that, in essence, says that the only business they were licensed to do was to buy and export. Gold.
Absolutely.
Well, we heard the PMMC also mentioned that they had cause to revoke their license in 2014, and that has been refuted by Men's Gold. But let's speak to Dr. Tony Obeng. He's the founder and president of Africa Institute of Extractive Industries. He's joining us live.
But he's also the former
Exactly. He was a former head, but he will speak to us as the founder and president of the Africa Institute of Extractive Industries. Thank you very much for your time here on Newsnight. You know the workings of the industry. You must have also followed the Men's Gold issue. What do you make of the issue about the back and forth about who regulates Men's Gold and also its activities?
Well, thank you very much, and good evening to you all and your cherished listeners. We at the African Institute of Extractive Industry have been following what's been going on lately on the issue of men's gold and Bank of Ghana and other institutions. And we think that generally the men's gold is trying to operate within a certain gray area within our regulatory system. And regulations are often unable to predict all the things that could happen over the period. And so I am sure that in the country, we never predicted any business of the nature which is being handled by men's gold at the moment. And it would seem to me that, they are trying to operate within an area which appears to be unregulated. Now, from the agreement between Men's Gold and the Minerals Commission, you would realize that there are certain conditions that Men's Gold should fulfill. The question will be whether or not they are fulfilling the tenet or the requirement of the contract between the regulation. Between the regulator and themselves.
Are they doing that from what you've observed?
Come again?
Are they observing the tenets as you're talking about? From what you've observed so far, are they doing that?
No, I wouldn't be able to know. Are they buying gold from regulated small-scale miners and exporting? We need to know. And then we need to understand the business of men's gold. Are they buying gold or they are not buying gold? I really don't understand fully their own business, but they were not licensed to trade in gold. That is quite clear. They were not licensed to do trading. And of course, if they were doing trading, then there must be a regulator that would have handled that aspect of the business. You see, the reason why Bank of Ghana has not been able to fully lower its act on them would be that Bank of Ghana, they don't have any license from the Bank of Ghana for now. So it becomes a challenge for Bank of Ghana to lower its acts to really go strongly on them. Otherwise, they would have gone long ago. So I think we need to sit down. I would want to see government trying to understand exactly what kind of business is it. Is it a Ponzi business? Is it a business that is doable? Could we create regulation around us for it to work? These are things that have not been looked at very carefully. But I would suggest, we would suggest that we look at the possibility, if it is possible, if it is legal, possibility of regulating that area, because they seem to be oscillating between areas that have been regulated and areas that have not been regulated. And what we see here is a gray area. I saw an article being written by one guy, I think a product of the University of Mines and Technology, and not too long ago, Bryce Simmons also wrote an article. And I think we need to look at the content of that and see whether or not there is a possibility for regulation, because what I see is that there's a gray area within which these guys are trying to operate.
So for you think that there are loopholes in the system that Men's Gold is taking advantage of?
Yes, it is. It is sounding as if people, it's in the nature of tax avoidance and tax evasion. It's in the nature of transfer pricing. They are not technically illegal, but they are morally illegal. Now, the way to block those areas is to come up with regulation, is to understand what happens there. If it is not illegal, then, or if it is not inimical to the state or to the people, then we could find some ways of regulating them to ensure that the businesses are kept operational. Otherwise, we could also create unnecessary panic when there should be no panic. And I'm not saying that there's either panic or there's no panic, but I'm saying that we shouldn't create a situation where there will be panic where there's none. So I would want to advise that maybe we'll look at what is happening very carefully and see which loopholes they are operating, and then probably develop some regulations around what they do. And if we think it is possible, allow them to do the business. If it is not possible, then we should, as early as possible, stop them from doing the business.
We're grateful for your time. That's Dr. Tony Obing. He's a founder and president of African Institute of Extractive Industries. And like you said, Evans, he's also the former CEO of the Minerals Commission. It's time now for sports. And Baba Tando is in the studios with the latest.
Hi, MFI and Evans. So, you people have actually signed for Nestle Ghana Limited for the Joy Sports Invitational, and you haven't told me about it, right?
Like we are playing for them?
Yes, they brought your transfer fee last week. You remember? You
are we that cheap?
So who took the transfer fee on our behalf? You took the transfer fee on our behalf.
Really?
As our manager.
So why didn't you reject it?
But you didn't present the fee to us as transfer fee.
Ask MFA. I told her about it. So
that it was transfer
I was misled.
You
misled us.
You misled us.
You misled us.
You have collected the money.
You go and play. You go and play for us.
You have signed for Nestle Ghana Limited, and you know what? Emigo Ghana Limited too. Charlie, you know what? When I go around doing my interviews, the things I hear is more like the invitational is done, and almost all of the institutions have actually won the trophy. But we'll see. We'll hear from Emigo Ghana on the Joy Sports Center with George Addo Jr. tomorrow morning. But we are picking up reports that FIFA has actually written to Ghana, to the Ghanaian government, advising that the court case be removed and dealt with, or face some sort of a wrath. So FIFA is warning the government to withdraw the court case, seeking to dissolve the Ghana Football Association by Monday, 27th August, or face its wrath. So Evans and MFA, what this means is that if indeed the court case is not withdrawn, quite a number of things will happen. You know, Ghana is hosting the Women's AFCON in November 17 to December 1. We could lose that, right? And also, we know the Black Stars will be playing a 2019 AFCON qualifier with Kenya next month. It also means that will also not happen. And a few other things, that are lined up in terms of football activities in the country. But we'll follow this closely and then bring you up to speed on whatever happens. But Executive Chairman of Ghana Premier League Club, Kumasi Asante Kotoko, Dr. Kwame Che, has dissolved the club's management with immediate effect. My colleague from Love Sports, Delali Atiasi, has more in the following report.
The decision, which takes immediate effect, was announced in a statement signed by the club's administrator, Rose Padmo Yeboah. Sources close to Dr. Che say he will announce a new management team to be headed by a one-time management team member, George Amwako, who served in the Herbert Mensah administration. Love Sports has learned the executive chairman wants a new direction for the club and intends to bring on board experienced hands to help push the two-time Continental Club champions back to the top echelon of elite clubs in Africa. Dr. Kwame Che, who has many business interest, is seeking a full-time administrator to man the day-to-day activities of the club. The latest development comes as no surprise to many followers of the club, following reports of power struggle, especially at the communication department. There are also reports of disagreements between management and the medical team led by Dr. Michael Litt over some of the team's decisions.
So that was Delali Atiase from Love Sports in Kumasi. So Evans, there's a lot to look forward to tomorrow in our subsequent bulletin, starting with the Joy Sports Center. I know you have something.
Yeah, okay, so please pronounce it.
Oh, Charlie, this is single obligor. Single obligor. Single obligor.
Hey, obligor. Hey. Anyway,
I want to hear somebody mention it. That man who's always been laughing at Ruben and Langabel
and Kumchacha as well.
Kumchacha. Today it is his turn.
Well, it's time. It's time for Flipside on Joy 99.7 FM, and of course, in the last 3 weeks since the Bank of Ghana announced a collapse of the 5 banks, one phrase that has become so notorious, we've been using it quite often. There's a phrase, single obligor. Well, from the banking experts, it means in essence that you cannot expose your loans to one person beyond a certain limit. Now, is that what we journalists, we attempted to get our friends to pronounce that, and Sammy Forcing was on the show you like on Saturdays, Weekend City Show, and he was actually attempting to get his guests to pronounce it so we can have a laugh. See how he survived.
Did you pay attention to the consolidated bank issue?
Oh, the is it what?
Consolidated.
Consolidated bank, much. That police, and I think.
Okay, one word that was thrown about a lot is the single obligor limit.
Hey.
Single obligor unit.
Pardon?
Single obligor limit.
Pardon? Oh, Sammy, let me hear it too. I didn't that's it.
Shout out to everybody on the Joy page. Charlie, you people, you want to use me for flip side.
Sammy, let's go.
My friend, leave me alone. My career is at stake.
By all means, it's supposed to stake.
It's supposed to what?
Stake.
My career is supposed to stake.
Steak.
Hey, chicken, not steak.
My career is at stake. It's supposed to stake. But Basami too.
You don't try.
Ogbligog. That's it for News Night tonight. My name is Evan Spencer.
I am a